Oh, it's gonna try something different. Like, I don't know, like, just some reading. Doesn't really matter how this sits for this. Reading the Terror, great book, great series based on it. Book. But it doesn't really matter. Chapter 9. Franklin. Latitude 70 degrees by 5 degrees north. Longitude 98 degrees by 23 degrees west. Way, May 1847. Captain Sir John Franklin may have gone the only man aboard either ship who remained outwardly serene when spring and summer simply did not arrive in April, May, and June in 1847. I told you guys I'd give you a video today, couldn't think of anything else, so. At first, Sir John had not formally announced that they were stuck for at least another year. He didn't have to. This previous spring, up at Beechy Island, the crew and officers had watched with eager anticipation, not only as the sun returned, but as the close pack broke up into discrete floes and slushy brass ice. Open leads appeared, and the ice gave up its grip. By late May of 1846, they had been sailing again. Not so this year. The previous spring, crew and officers had observed the return of the many birds, whales, fish, foxes, seals, walruses, and other animals, not to mention the greening of the lichen and low heather on the islands they were sailing toward by early June. Not this year. No open water meant no whales, no walruses, almost no seals. The few ring seals they spied were as hard to catch or shoot now as they had been in early winter, and nothing but dirty snow and gray ice as far as the eye could see. The temperature stayed cold despite the longer hours of sun each day. Although Franklin had the mast fully stepped, the spars reset, the rigging redone, and fresh canvas, and both ships brought up by mid-April, there was no purpose to it. The steam boilers remained unfired except to move warm water through the heating pipes. Lookouts report a solid table of light extending in all directions. Icebergs stayed in place where they had been frozen in place the previous September. Fitzjames and Lieutenant Gore, working with Captain Crozier from Terror, had confirmed from their star sightings that the current was pushing the ice floe south at a pitiful 1.5 miles per month, but this mass of ice on which they were pinned had rotated counterclockwise all winter, returning them to where they had begun. Pressure ridges continued to pop up like white gopher burrows. The ice was thinning. Firehole teams could saw through it now, but was still more than 10 feet thick. Captain Sir John Franklin remained serene through all of this because of two things: his faith in his wife. Sir John's devout Christianity buoyed him up even when the press of responsibility and frustration collaborated to press him down. Everything that happened was, he knew and fervently believed, God's will. What seemed inevitable to the others need not be in a universe administered by an interested and merciful God. The ice might suddenly break up in midsummer, now less than 6 weeks away, and even a few weeks of sailing and steaming time would bring them triumphantly to the Northwest Passage. They would steam west along the coast as long as they had coal, and sail the rest of the way to the Pacific, escaping the far northern latitudes sometime in mid-September, just before the pack ice solidified again. Franklin had experienced greater miracles in his lifetime, just being appointed commander of this expedition at age 60 after the humiliation of Van Diemen's Land had been a great miracle. As deep and secure as Sir John's faith in God was, his faith in his wife was even deeper and sometimes more frightening. Lady Jane Franklin was an indomitable woman. Indomitable was the only word for her. Her will knew no bounds, and in almost every instance, Lady Jane Franklin would bend the errant and arbitrary ways of the world to the iron command of her will. Already, he imagined, after being out of touch for 2 full winters, his wife had mobilized her very impressive private fortune, public contacts, and apparently limitless force of will to cajole the Admiralty, the Parliament, and God alone know what other agencies in the searching for him. This last fact bothered Sir John somewhat. Above all else, he did not want to be rescued, approached either overland or by sea during the brief summer thaw by hastily assembled expeditions under the command of whiskey-breathed Sir John Ross or the young Sir James Ross, who would be forced out of his Arctic retirement, Sir John was sure, by Lady Jane's demands. That way lay shame and ignominy. But Sir John remained serene because he knew that the Admiralty was not moved quickly on any matter, not even by such a forceful fulcrum and lever as his wife Jane, Sir John Barrow, and the other members of the mythical Arctic Council, not to mention Sir John's official Superiors in the Royal Navy Discovery Service knew quite well that HMS Erebus and HMS Terror had provisions for 3 years, longer if severe rations were imposed, not to mention the capability of fishing and hunting game, so that should they ever come in sight of any. Sir John knew that his wife, his indomitable wife, would force a rescue, should it come to that, but the terrible and wonderful inertia of the Royal Navy would almost certainly ensure that such a rescue attempt would not be outfitted until the spring and summer of 1848, if not later. Alright, I guess I'll just stop here for now, see if Wade actually thinks of this. I was like doing something different, I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I just decided to read a bit. I might read some more. It's a fairly long book. I don't know, I'd do the whole chapter, but I feel like going to bed instead. So, fuck it.